Hi, this is William from Great Affordable Watches, and today I'm going to review the Ginault Ocean-Rover. And this is the version with the sand loom. This is probably one of the most talked about watches in the watch community the last year, and there are many both positive things said about this watch and many negative things about this watch. And this watch has also been through a bit of controversy regarding the handmade in the United States and things regarding that. But in this review, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna talk about it a bit, but in this review, I'm gonna go through what I think about the watch and the watch itself, and not the controversy regarding it. In the end, it always comes down to how well crafted the watch is and how good it is for the money. This is what I'm gonna go through today. And as always, let's start with some specifications. The case diameter is 40 millimeters. The lug-to-lug width is around 47 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The case thickness is a bit over 13 millimeters thick. It got a sapphire crystal aluminium bezel insert, 120 clicks, and water resistant down to 300 meters. And it is also ISO certified, so each and every watch is tested to handle this specification, and in this case 300 meters. So this is a true diving watch, which is always nice to see. The movement in this watch is a ETA 2824 clone, and it's Ginault's own movement, and they say that they use different suppliers to create every part of this movement except the shock protector and the jewels, which are ordered from a third-party supplier. And they also say that the movement is entirely made in the United States except for the jewels and the shock protector. And as I said, there's been a bit of controversy regarding this, but I will take the word for it and assume that the movement is almost entirely made in the United States. But as always, you should make up your own opinion and read more about it before coming to any conclusions. Okay, we're gonna start off with the bezel, and the bezel is, as I said, with a aluminium insert, and it's 120 clicks, and the bezel action is extremely solid. As we can see, there is basically no play at all, and the bezel action itself is a bit different. I think they are trying to replicate a bezel action very similar to some older Rolex Submariners. And so you basically use 3 fingers and push it down slightly and then turn. But it can be a bit hard the first time, and it takes a while to get used to, but once you are used to it, the bezel action is very smooth and rock solid. But I should say that I had a bit of issue with the bezel and the bezel action at first because I was not used to it, and it took a while for me to getting used to it. And they also say that after around 200 to 300 rotations, the bezel will get even smoother, and which it has, so that's very nice to see. The crown is of course a screw down crown, and it is a very solid screwing action. It feels rock solid actually, and the stem is very thick, as we can see, and therefore very solid. And this is always a good thing, because a wobbly stem doesn't give a very good impression. We can also see it's a pretty big gasket here, so I think we can assume that this watch can handle water and high depths without a problem. It's very easy to screw it down, which is always nice. And of course the crown is signed with the Ginault logo, and it's actually pretty nicely done as well, so that's nice. One of the main attractions of this watch is of course the dial, and I must say I'm very impressed by the quality of it, and it looks great. It is a high gloss enamel dial, and from my understanding it is very hard to create a true enamel dial, and but they have created it and it looks very nice with the high gloss and deep black look. And I think it's pretty impressive to have a dial like this in a watch for this price. And I should note that this watch retails for $1,300, which is also a point of controversy because many people think that $1,300 is far too expensive for a homage. And we're gonna go through that later in the video. The dial itself is extremely nicely made with applied markers and with the very famous sand loom. And this is probably one of my absolute favorite things about this watch, and that's the sand loom. I'm a big fan of vintage inspired watches and fake vintage loom. And I must say that this is probably the best fake vintage loom I have ever seen. It is not too extreme and not too fake. I think they have done a great job balancing the vintage look while not making it look too fake. So that is very, very impressive. I absolutely love this loom, and of course I'm gonna show you a loom shot. I must say that the red second hand here really complements the dial overall, and I think that was a great choice. I would think that a red line of text would look very nice as well, but I think it looks good as it is. My least favorite part about this dial is all the lines of text. I don't know why they have put this many lines of text on this dial, because that ruins it a bit. It doesn't really ruin it completely, but it takes away from the very clean and simple dial overall. And they could definitely skip 2 lines of text here at the bottom. And I'm not entirely sure why they put kinetic continuous below Ginault either. But other than that, I think the dial looks absolutely amazing. And I think that the dial is probably one of the better dials I've seen, and the absolute best dial on any Submariner Homage I have ever felt, if I'm gonna be honest. And also the sapphire crystal is extremely impressive, and the sapphire crystal is probably the best crystal I have seen in a homage watch. And I think the slight dome really looks great, and it gives it a very nice and warm feeling, which is always pretty hard for a sapphire crystal. But this one looks amazing. Let's move on to the case finishing, and as many people have said, the case finishing is absolutely superb. We got all polished sides, brushed on top of the lugs, and a very simple case back with some text and a brushed surface here. We also got a slight bevel here at the lugs, which looks very nice. And the finishing is, as many people have said, excellent, and it's probably the best finishing I've seen on a homage watch. But again, the watch costs a lot more than most homage watches, so I kind of expect that the finishing is above the cheaper homage watches. But you can really see that they put extra work in the finishing and especially polishing here. I bet if you put this watch side by side to a cheaper watch, you can definitely see the difference. One other thing that is very important is the bracelet, and I'm not the bracelet person, but I think this bracelet is very nicely done, and especially the solid end links are machined almost perfectly to the case, and this is pretty impressive. And this is definitely the best bracelet I have seen and felt in this price range. But then again, I'm not the biggest bracelet person, so I could be wrong. But I really like the bracelet on this watch, and it feels very solid. The links are a bit thicker than I'm used to, and overall I really like the bracelet, and it's very comfortable. And with the glide lock Rolex looking clasp, it's very easy to adjust it and very easy to close it and all. I must say overall this is a really fantastic watch, and the quality is honestly outstanding. But even though this watch has amazing quality and I love it, but in the end it is a very expensive watch. And while this is in my opinion the best Submariner Homage, I think $1,300 is a lot of money to pay for a Homage watch. I don't really understand why they have gone for a Homage watch, a Submariner Homage of this quality. They could have created something more unique, and while still having this kind of quality. And if they would have done that, I think they would have a true winner, because the quality of this watch is absolutely amazing. But it's a Homage watch, and that's a bit of a shame. But me personally, I'm not against Homage watches. I tend to like them a lot, but I can see that many people would have a problem and an issue with a Homage watch of this price. The quality of the watch reflects the price premium, and the quality is sometimes even higher than the price you're paying, especially the dial and the case finish. I think it's just amazingly done. And the size of this watch, I'm gonna try it on. The size is perfect for my wrist. I got a 7-inch wrist. So let's switch perspective and take a look at the wrist shots. And here it is. I think it suits my wrist perfectly, and I think the lume is just amazing looking. And as I said, this is probably the best looking lume I've seen on a watch of this price. And that is pretty impressive in my opinion. And as we can see, I think the size wears more like a 39 millimeters, which is perfectly fine for me, and because I tend to like smaller watches. But overall, I think that the size is perfect. And you guys know I have had a lot of different Submariner Homage watches, and I used to love Steinhardt. I think Steinhardt made some great watches, and especially the Ocean 500 Premium. I think that was a great watch. But after wearing this for a while, I must say that the quality of the Steinhardt doesn't even come close to this one. But then again, the price of this one is almost twice as much as the Ocean 500. Is it really twice the quality? Maybe, perhaps it is, but that's up to you to decide. The finishing is definitely a lot better on the case, and the dial is 10 times better. But overall, I really love this watch, and this is a truly well crafted watch, and that's no question about it. You can argue about the homage aspect of this watch, but the craftsmanship of the quality is superb, and probably one of the best quality watches of this price range. And I would really love to see something more unique and something more original from Ginault, because if they keep this quality and make something of their own, I think Ginault would make something quite special. This watch is, as I said, truly a work of art when it comes to the quality and the craftsmanship. And if you're looking for a homage, Submariner Homage, this is the best alternative, but the price is also higher than the rest of the homage watches. The movement is pretty hard to argue about, because we have not seen how this movement holds up in the long run, so I can't really say for sure, but they regulate the movement in 6 positions, and I think this watch runs at about plus 2 seconds a day, and that is very impressive. So if you're looking for a Submariner Homage and you don't want to spend around 80k for one, but want the quality or almost the quality of a Rolex. I think this is a good alternative, but then remember you can spend a little bit more money and get a Tudor Black Bay with the ETA movement, or the in-house for that matter. But I think the quality of this watch, as I said, is quite special, and it wears extremely well, in my opinion. And some aspects of the Ginault company and if it is made in the United States and all that can be discussed, and I think you should read a bit more about this before buying this watch. But for the sake of things, I take the word of Ginault and believe that this watch is made in the United States, except for some parts. So please let me know what you think of this watch down in the comments. Would you pay $1,300 for a Homage? And if you have tried it or own one, please let me know your thoughts about it. Because I really like this watch and I would love to hear your thoughts about it as well. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you didn't, then leave a dislike, and please subscribe to my channel for more watch related content, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.